Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of A Walk Down Memory Lane. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Dennis Brown, and we have a host of gentlemen from the West End, from Dockyard to Somerset Trojans in Bumlabal. We have Dr. Lou Simmons, we have Stephen Riley, and Michael Corday. First of all, gentlemen, welcome. Dennis, I know ever since you told me you had lined these guys up, I've been excited and waiting to hear from these guys, because clearly, I mean, we've had these guys, some of these guys on before, and they reminisce about stories with the person they were on. But now having guys who were all at Dockyard and then getting to the Somerset Trojans, some of the stories that they're going to tell tonight are probably things that some people never heard of before, because you know how secrets are.
Well, I think that these secrets these guys have, they need to keep them. They can't get their vote.
Speak for yourself, man.
I said I plead the fifth.
Well, Dennis, let's jump right into it. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure to have all four guys on, because all of them mean the world to me. From Mike and I started together with Dwayne Tricks Richardson. He was a big inspiration for us, and we used to watch Stevie, Lou, and Bumler in the we were in the Bantams, and Stevie, Lou, and Bumler were in the junior team, and we were aspiring to be like those guys. And it's just a pleasure to have these guys on. They were great teammates, great inspiration, and it's just looking to reminisce about things back in the day, because I always like to go back and talk about how it used to be. And yeah, this is going to be another great journey. So,
yeah.
Okay, so to Lou, Bumler, and Stevie, right? It was and then Mike's got a separate question. So to Lou, Bumler, and Stevie, the present day people don't know about Lionel Turner. What role did Mr. Turner play in you guys' development as you were coming through before you got to the seniors? And Mike, the same thing. A lot of people don't know the impact that Tricks Richardson had on us when we are coming through. So, Mike, what role did Tricks Richardson play in your development coming through as a Somerset youth player? So, Lou, Stevie, and Bumler, the same question about Mr. Turner, and Mike, the question about Tricks.
We'll start with Bumler.
Well, that's a very important question, because Lionel Turner had a lot to do with our youth development. So he was our junior coach, and at that time, when you played for Somerset, even in the junior team, you had a lot of respect. You had a lot of respect for the club, a lot of respect for the coach. You had a lot of respect for one another. So Lionel Turner pulled, I think we had two junior sides, a A and a B, a red and a white. So that's how much players you had at the time. That's how much guys were interested in playing football. That's why Somerset was always a great team, because they had so much people, to pick from. And everybody was good. Everybody in that junior team was good. So Lionel was very instrumental to us in our development coming through the junior team. And 1975, I remember we had all types of fundraisers, and ride push bikes from Somerset to St. George's, and raising money to go to England. Mm-hmm. And Lionel Turner took that team, and that even developed us even more. And we were good. We were keen. It's one thing what a Trojan. You're eager to play, you're eager to win. And that comes from when you're young, from the guys before us. You know, that's what we were used to seeing. Good athletes and winning. We just had a knack for winning. So Lionel Turner, classy him. You know, he's also a mathematician, so he is a teacher at Southampton Green and developed a lot of guys like Kenny Thompson and guys like that from down Southampton Green. So he played a big role in Somerset Cricket Club and the Somerset team and helped develop the guys. His house was open to all of us, if you guys remember. We were at his house literally all day Saturdays. We literally live, ate, and drank football. And growing up his house, we was down at the club, watching the little Bantams, mini minors. That's why Howard too, you know, that was a community thing. He started a community league all up through Somerset. Room Street, you had the Hill, you had the Falcons from our dockyard, Manchester, around Manchester Street. So this was some good times for developing we guys. And thank God for people like Lionel Turner and all the people in the community, actually, because that's what it was all about. It was about the community, the pride, the love for one another, and the will to win and train. We love to train. That was one of the key things. We didn't just go training to train. We love to go training, and we test one another. We is keen, and we push one another.
Sure. Doc?
Yeah, well, as Bumler said, I mean, Lionel Turner was all of that, man. And reflectively for me, when I came from Island Ranges to Somerset, Lionel Turner there. I credit actually Lionel Turner for shaping my sense of professionalism. And I think, and in two ways, when we went to England in '75, and you guys might remember this here. I mean, when we would be playing against those English teams, as Bumler said, we guys believed that no one could beat us. And when the A team was on, I mean, we were up like 2-3-0, and Turner take the whole team off and put on the B team. We guys be angry, man, and end up losing the game. And I remember it especially when we played West Ham, because Clyde Best. Our thing was to, we wanted to beat West Ham. We guys were 2-0 up on West Ham, lost 3-2. But the lesson that Turner taught us, because I remember, man, I'm pissed off that he would change the team around and not let us play an entire game. And his whole mindset was that he said, look, you're here to learn from what professionalism is about. And given that we guys were hyper competitive group of guys. And as Bumler said, we were like that with each other in training. I mean, everything was a competition with us. And, with Turner, he helped us to mold it in such a way to understand that, it's yet winning is important. At the same time, your attitude toward the game and your attitude toward is most important. So he for me helped me to understand what it meant to have a professional attitude. And then secondly, I don't know if you guys remember this, because Bumler, you remember when you talk about the sponsorship, when it was Turner really who negotiated the British Airways sponsorship of Somerset. And for us, man, that was like Oh man, British
Yeah.
Airways. I mean, our jerseys reflected. Our jerseys were designed like the tail
Yeah.
wing of British Airways. Our jerseys were like that, and for us, that was like big leagues, man. Sponsorship, British Airways. All of us got bags, British Airways. When we came back from that tour, the first team had the jerseys of British Airways, and I think we were one of the first clubs, if I recall, to have a type of sponsorship like that. And so for us, it was like, hey, that's pro league, man. We were professionals, and we were. I mean, certain players got paid some money, and some players did. But again, and I think I've said it previously on shows. I mean, we guys were of an era where sports betting was very heavy in the day.
Mm.
And when I say sports betting, if you knew anything about the syndicate, you could make money. I know Bumler made money off of goals, right? And I know I made money off of shutouts. But again, the sense of professionalism and Lionel Turner helped to shape that type of mindset, man. So I'm always gratified and respectful and acknowledge a lot of what he taught us and the impression that he left me with in terms of a sense of what it means to be professional. And he used to say, you may not go, because all of us thought we were gonna be professional footballers, right? And his thing was that there's another type of professional, and be a professional person. He used to say that all the time. Be a professional person, right? And that's something that just always stuck with me, and a lesson in life that Lionel Turner reinforced. So I credit a lot of a sense of professionalism that Lionel Turner reinforced in myself and in the team.
Sure.
Yeah.
Steve?
Good evening, fellas. Man, these guys almost said it all. But the one thing I remember most about Turner, man, that he instilled in me guys to learn the basics. Learn how to prep and pass the ball. And to me, that's a big reason why we had such a good team for such a long time. Most of our players knew the basics of the game. You know what I mean? New spaces, triangles, and things like that. And also, that community league that Bumler was talking about earlier, man, that proved a big success up in Sumter, because it developed a lot of players up in Sumter. Guys who could have played for any other team, but because they didn't make Sumter, they wouldn't go to Rouse, because once upon a time you'd have about 20 on Navy Field,
Yep.
Yeah, and then it went right over to the hub team, But Turner was a good man, definitely a good man. It'd be nice to have someone in local football like that again.
Mm.
But we he's a big miss. But he I remember him quite well. He was a good man, like Bumler said. We spent most days at his house talking football, drinking.
Yeah.
Drinking mineral at that time.
You're taking us back. You're taking us back.
Not soda, Earl.
Yeah.
You ain't got a bottle of mineral, man.
I was in the shop the other day. I asked him for a bottle of mineral. Was a young bartender. I was just texting, You heard, I heard that, Mom, what's a bottle of mineral, Mama?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, evening, you guys. I actually remember Lionel, because he was with you guys, and our era, Rock and I, was sort of behind you guys, and I realized that how much of an influence he was, man. But then, Rock, I'm sure you'll agree with me. We had these guys to emulate. You know what I mean? We looked up to Lou, and we looked up to Bumler and Stevie. And when we were playing backyard football, it was always, Cooper, I'm keeper Lou. I'm keeper Lou. Or, If you was playing up front, yeah, Stevie Riley. And if you was up wide, yeah, I'm Bumler Bell. You know, those things. You was in midfield, George Brenger. So we had all that to emulate. And Trix Richardson was not only a big influence in our football development, but for me, Trix was a big influence in us overall. Like he was an influence in our lives. I think he was one of the most positive role models. If you look at the rest of these guys, I mean, my boy Stevie here, this is a guy who played with his heart on his sleeve. You know, Bumler just wouldn't stop. Lou, you could tell that Lou, there was something different about Lou. You know what I mean? All these guys had something that just losing was not an option to these guys. And one of the things that Dwayne taught us with these guys was, hey, you're playing for Somerset now, kid, and losing is not an option. You know, I remember when we used to sit in changing rooms after a draw, sit in changing rooms for 2 hours. What did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? And think about it and think about it. It was because of these guys. You know, it was because of these guys. Dwayne was such a fitness freak that not only were we technically superior because he was all about getting the basics right, and you know, this is Somerset and you need to have a certain standard if you want to be in this program. Not only were we right there, but the fitness level, if we couldn't beat you technically, you better be at the top of your fitness game, mate. Because we were running for 90 minutes and still looking for more air. You know, I mean, it was that way. But like I say, Trix was a tremendous influence to all of us. And coming from these guys' era, I know that these guys played with Trix. So the guys that we were trying to emulate and that we all looked up to, having one of them as our mentor, you know, that meant something to us. And the respect that we had for Dwayne and Lou and Bumler and Stevie and all these guys, like we guys would never say anything out of place to these guys. That was a life lesson to us. You know what I mean? Outside of our football development, all that stuff that we got from Somerset Cricket Club and these guys before us was invaluable. I mean, honestly, I don't know about you, Rock, but if I had to change anything, I wouldn't change one thing. Yeah, you know
for
what I mean?
real.
I wouldn't change
I agree.
anything. I'll ever be grateful to Somerset Cricket Club and the guys who came before us, and the standards that they set. The standards were so high. I mean, if you weren't, hey, this might not be the club for you if you can't set this standard. You might want to think about somewhere else. You know, and that's the way it was at Somerset Cricket Club. You had to be the best. If you weren't the best, go sit over there. And if you're sitting over there and you want to come over here, you better work harder. You know, that was the attitude and the mindset that these guys taught us. And
I tell people right up to today, we were taught how to win.
Oh yeah,
we were actually taught how to win.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So for people to say that, you know, it's about development. Yeah, it's about development. But tell a young boy that constantly losing a game that, you know, or ask him, is he having fun? You know, but we were actually taught how to win. And I even remember in the first team, but in the Bantams one time, we were losing like 4-0 at halftime. And Trix told us some choice words that I can't rehash right her, you know, but at the end of the day, we brought that game back to 4-4 against PHE, you know, and things like that. Like I remember even in the first team, you know, I was fortunate to be captain at 18, but I could never disrespect none of the senior guys. The guys like Lou, Bumler, Stevie, these guys brought me through. They made my captaincy easy, you know. And I always remember, I tell people like when things weren't going good at the back, Stevie didn't talk to nobody else but me. And Stevie used to give me choice words. Dennis, get that bleep, 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 bleep defense, bleep, bleep together. And what do I have to do? So I have to make sure that my guys, Steve is getting on me, I'm getting on you. You know what I mean? So, and that's how it was. Respect. Like we respected each other. Like, you know what I mean? There was no animosity because I was captain at 18. These guys showed me the way. You know what I mean? And I'm ever so grateful for these guys, you know, for what they did, you know, in our time playing for South. They were true role models, man.
Sure.
True role models.
Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll speak more with these guys from Island Rangers to Somerset Trojans. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
This month, John Barrett & Son bring us a premium thirst quencher from North Carolina, the Blue Ultra Purified Water. Many other bottled waters use reverse osmosis to reach an acceptable level of purity. Le Bleu uses a 5-step purification process, which includes fractional vapor compression, distillation, and ozonation, assuring purity and a unique, appealing flavor. Consumer testimony repeatedly praises the taste of Le Bleu compared to the other brands, and this, along with superior purity, makes Le Bleu a must-try. Lindos, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, you know, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Welcome back. Well, there's got to be something that stands out in your mind about some of these guys here with you in your playing days that you would never forget. What's one of those things with Blue, Stevie, and Mike?
Yeah, you know, in the break, just thinking, and it's pretty difficult through time periods. You know, some people want to know if LA was the best, Maradona, or even up to date players playing today. So it's kind of difficult because coming up then, it was all about family, your neighborhood, your community, your high school. And you felt that. You know, if you were in Burrs Island, all those guys were in Burrs, it was one whole big family, the whole school. And that was spread out through the community at the time. And even when you went from there to Sands, it was the family again. And we just graduated from there right to the next level. So that carried with you. So all those things that you were taught by your parents and in the community, it meant a lot. And you ever dreamt in your mind to play for Somerset Trojans because the history of the club was already there. Like anybody knows, and all the guys that are sitting here now know, you were told. Anything even knows how to win. So if y'all come around here to play, ain't no time for no play because we have so many other guys just as good as you, better than you to choose from. So now we come forward.
Yeah. Doc, what about you?
Memories. I could pick games actually.
Yeah.
with everyone. I could, and I mean to detail. Well, I can pick the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right?
Let's hear 'em.
I could pick all the good games of Bumla Bell with Trojans scoring winning goals, his 30 goal season, all of that. But I tell you, when he went hotels and he injured my ankle, he don't know how much I don't know. He injured my ankle in the first 2 minutes of the Martimer game.
First 2 minutes.
First, I should have, and mine should have taken me off, right? But he kept me on the field, and it just got worse and worse. But you don't know, man. I just wanted Bumla, just come close, Bumla. and Bumla stayed away for the entire game, man. And I said, I just want him come close. I just want 50-50 with him. That was the mindset. But we were hyper competitive. When in terms of Mike, I have visionary goals of Mike, and I could always see a ball of when Mike's gonna score on a volley, right? The technique was always perfect. I said, "Oh, his ball's coming across line," and I said, "The ball just dropped," and Mike just going. I said, "Oh, this is a goal." Before I used to call it before he hit it. I said, "Oh, this is a goal," and it used to excite me, man. Those type of techniques. A volley was one of I consider it one of Mike's specialties. Because he was very consistent in hitting the volley. And with Stevie, I always say this about, for me, it's Stevie. When Stevie was in the team, I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Stevie. We played North Village at BAA. And I think Norbert Simons was the coach at this time. This is FA Cup. Village had us, man. Village had us. And probably in the last dying minutes, we equalized, and the game had to go overtime. And Village were just finished. And I said to Stevie, "Hey, Stevie, finish them off." I looked at them, and they were just so dejected. And I said, "Stevie, finish them off in the first 15 minutes of overtime." And Stevie ran out, whoop, goal. Finish them off. So those are the memories that I have. I have vivid memories of all my games and players. I mean, certainly with Rock, the game against Eagles.
Yes.
Right? That was all Rock.
3-3.
3-3. And Eagles got some freak goals, man. But hey, they were goals. And they were up. And you guys knew, hey, ain't no way we're gonna let Eagles beat us in Somerset. We cannot allow that.
I'm telling you.
Hey, we cannot allow that. Those type of things, man.
Telling you.
When the guys talk about our, hyper competitiveness and winning, knowing how to win is an attitude. That's an attitude, man. And we had an attitude about winning and knowing how to win. And more importantly, knowing how to draw upon each player. We always had one or two players in a game who we knew are go-to players in a game if things weren't working out. Bernard Dillon. Certainly, I mean, I had the privilege of playing with Dirk Simmons and George Brangman. I mean, we'll be down and those guys will score. Bumla, tricks. So knowing and winning is an attitude. And as the guy said, I always had a sense of victory even before I got on the field. With Somerset, I mean, we would call a score before the game would start. We play a team and we say, "Oh, this is a 3-0 or this is a 4-0," and probably the teams that we gave the greatest respect. I always felt that we gave Zebras probably of many in my Vesco were a late team, and Hotels but Zebras were always a team that Somerset respected.
Mm.
We always respected that team. And Village, we just look forward to playing with Village. We used to say, oh, yeah, let them play the 1-2. We just slam them. That was the mentality.
Yep.
So, those are the things that stand out, for me about, all the guys here. But, like I said, vividly, so many stories, man. But like I said, they are lasting memories, and they are memories that when you talk about winning, and I know there's an under-17 team that's over there right now, girls,
Mm-hmm.
and a shout out to them. But teaching them how to win right now is important, especially recognizing they're playing against teams that are beating them 6-0 and 4 and 5-0. It's just, assuring them to find the best things about their game,
Mm-hmm.
and go out there and believe that they can, beat teams, teaching them how to win is an attitude.
Mm.
Those are the things that stand out for me.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, Earl. You talk about these guys here. I get a little bit emotional when I talk about these guys, because, like I said, Bumla Bell was the guy that I first started to watch Somerset and play for Somerset. This is a guy that I emulated a lot. As a matter of fact, we talk about Troy Barkley's father, Howard, recently, and Howard used to say to me, "You're gonna be the next Bumla Bell." And I was always like, "Are you crazy, Mike? It ain't gonna be no other Bumla Bell. I'll just be Mike Corday." So these guys we were such high esteem. And Stevie, like I said, Stevie was a guy who played with his heart on his sleeve, and losing wasn't an option for him. And he brought players along in that attitude. And look, if you're not willing to do the work, then you need to go over there. That sort of thing. I can tell you, when we used to watch Bumla and Lou and Stevie, I know when I made my debut, George Brangman was actually playing, and George was such a, to me, he was such a gifted player that he made everything look easy, and watching Stevie and Bumla and Lou, I know that I used to say, you know what, if I train, I'm not good near Lou. I'm telling you that now. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
your whole buddy. These are the things that this is the type of respect that we had for these guys. I know Rock agrees with me. We looked up to these guys like you would not believe. I mean, when we were sitting off the field watching these guys, it was this. I have to be at the same level these guys are at. I have to maintain this standard, and that's what these guys forced us to do. So, watching these guys, I can tell you stories about, Bumla and Lou and Stevie, and I can remember games as well. But I'll be here all night, so I know you agree, Rock.
Yep.
These guys were to us, man.
Yep. For sure.
Before we go to Stevie, we want to say, Doc, you mentioned the under-17 girls. They lost 5-0 to Canada, but they're watching tonight, so they're listening to you guys talk. So. We want to encourage them. They have one more game against the Dominican Republic on Thursday night. So good luck, ladies.
Tell them stay positive. Stay positive.
Yep. Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
Yeah.
Stevie?
What I remember, man, you guys had a lot of fun, man. In my first 13 years, we won a trophy, man, and I mean, there were some nights after training, you guys didn't need a changing room to about 11 o'clock. Just shooting the breeze, getting an hour before the game, talking all types of junkie, just getting everybody in a nice mood, what I mean, ready to go out and play, man. But and one of my special times was with my mate Bumla. That's my best mate, and we went to Birds Island together. And something that sticks out to me, he came to school the second day in school, And I don't know if you remember, Bummer, when you had on that sailor's outfit. Remember what that's me. That's my special mate. Yeah, but like I said, before these other guys, we had a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun, man. I appreciate you guys, man. You know?
Hey, Earl, let me just ask this. I want to. I don't want to say this, and it's something that Mike said earlier too. I mean, I can tell you, I mean, all of us knew about the Triple Crown Championship team in Somerset, right? And it was a fixation as a youth player to be a for myself, it was a fixation to be a Triple Crown champion, to be a triple. And I never won the original Triple Crown, right? I never won, but I won many triples. My triples for Somerset were always Martin Muir Cup, Friendship FA, Martin Muir Cup, FA League, in those types of orders, And for about, I came in 75, and between 75 and 88, it was nothing but a series of multiple trophies. Well, I'm saying 88, actually up to 84, series of multiple trophies, man. And it was like an addiction with us when you talk about hyper competitiveness. I mean, it was a fixation for us that we had to win multiple trophies, man. But the original triple always eluded us for some reason. We won triples, but not the original.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to take another commercial break. Then we come back. Dennis, you're up.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
The history of everyday use of spices extends back thousands of years into antiquity. Since 1976, the Frontier Natural Foods Co-op has been bringing a wide range of exciting and authentic flavors to the table. A comprehensive range of ancient traditional herbs and spices produced organically and sustainably. The results are good news for the environment and more robust, fragrant essential oils in these natural seasonings. This month, we're featuring Frontier Natural Products, at least 95% organic salt-free lemon pepper. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
Okay, before I ask Bum the next question, I would just like to reiterate what Lou, everybody said about obsession with winning. We guys were obsessed with winning. Like, I remember McNeil told me one day that I'm like Jekyll and Hyde. He said, off the field, you're so nice and you're so calm and you're so humble. On the field, you're like a devil. But we were like, and that transcended onto the field because we trained how we played. Like we trained, like Bomber said, hard. We pushed each other to the limit. Friday nights was 11 to 11. Like you would have thought that was a league game, but we took that intensity level right into the Sunday matches, and we did something special too, because from 81 to 84, we were undefeated in the league. We went 3 years in the league undefeated, won the league 3 years in a row, undefeated, like 51 games. You know what I mean? And that hasn't been repeated since. But we were that obsessed to win that we pushed these off to the limit. Training sessions were brutal. And you heard people today talking about how Stevie talked to this guy. You can't talk to this guy this way. Back in the day, you had to sock it up and take it. You know what I mean? Worrying about somebody talking, shouting to you. Are you serious? Like you wouldn't have lasted in our team. You wouldn't have lasted in our team. But we were that obsessed to win. You know what I mean? So the question to Bumler now is, well, everybody really. Do you guys remember your first games that you played for Somerset? Who was it against, and how did you think you did? So your first games against whoever, and from there.
I know, remembering to have that privilege to play for Somerset, I was I was on top of the moon, man. I was excited. Adrenaline had me going. I couldn't sleep. All I can remember, I can't mess up, because it was 1975. I just came back from England, and it just so happened that they needed a winger. So they gave me a try. This guy's like really minus, and I had the privilege to play with Kenny Cairn and George Bremen, Borley Smith. These guys will come and train you, and there's a pass the ball, there's a back the ball at you to make you trap it and all that. And they prepared you, for when you go out on the field, the type of knocks you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Watch out for type of falls so you don't get injured. And they strengthen you up physically and mentally. I can't exactly remember the exact first game, but I do remember the first FA Cup, because I had the privilege to be 16 years old and play in the FA Cup at National Stadium. That was like walking on the moon. It's an unbelievable feeling to actually play for Somerset Trojans and come out at National Stadium to play for Somerset. It's a feeling you can't explain it. You have to feel it. You can't even imagine it. It's a mind-blowing thing, and especially at that time. That's what I'm saying. Like the time periods, it's hard to. You can't compare 70s through the 80s to the 2000s, because the mindset of the human being is different.
Yeah,
family is different. So if you was able to be around at that time and come through, it was unbelievable. Somerset has some of the most loving people, and it's the whole community. That was the beauty to play for Somerset Trojans. That's what blew me the most. It's that everybody, it's like you can't say nothing bad. At that time, nobody in the world.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
Do you remember who the FA Cup was against?
It was so loving. People went to church. They came out. They had the coffee and potato. They cooked their Sunday. Their Sunday dinner was ready before they left home to go to the game.
Yeah.
It was like a religion, mate. And the community was there, and you could feel the love because of the support. And you came up with that, so you had it even in junior football. And Lou, Stevie, Corday, and Dennis, and all you guys could tell you, even at the junior level, to come and play before a big game, and Somerset was playing somebody, and you was out there, the amount of support you had, even at a junior game then, and the love you could feel. And you saw that And then when you saw the big boys going, so you had something to live up to and something to look forward to.
Mm.
And they had the order. The order was there.
Yeah. You remember who the FA Cup was against?
But yes, I do. And never forget it. Was Devonshire Coates. George Berman beats the clock. I was going so fast on the ring. PB Quackle used to chase me. Hey, take it easy, young man. Take it easy. Calm down. Calm down now. The excitement, happy, man. Yeah, never forget that. George Berman got two beautiful headers. George Berman is still one of the best headers in the world. I'm telling you this. Because he used to always say, a lot of guys go aboard and they turn their head like. Lots of times you didn't have to. That's why George Berman was a powerful header. Most of the time he catch that ball straight on me.
Yeah.
Rocket headers.
Yeah. Lou?
Somerset, I don't think anybody has had a battle parade after the win a cup than Somerset either. No way.
Not this little kid.
The syndicate and the mafia, the heel posse, and the type of support Somerset had back then. You guys used to convertibles, what? You guys had good cars.
The King Mobile.
I was in a truck. I tell you, you will never get me in a truck half again. I played at the stadium. Are you mad? But not when you're used to royalty at Somerset. There's a fight to get for money. Give you a car. We have to be a car. Convertible. Tail guys will show up. Convertible. Tail guys will show up.
Lou, you remember your first?
Yeah. Actually, Bumble and I's first game was at Devonshire Rec. It was a night game against Warwick United, or Bombardiers at the time. Al James was their big striker during this time. I mean, they had some big fellas.
Cortland Furbert.
Cortland Furbert, yeah.
Cortland, remember him.
Cortland Furbert, all them guys, they played, and we beat them at Devonshire Rec, beat them like 3-1. But that's my memory of my first league game, night game. Just being, you were told the day before, right, or what the team was going to be. So mentally, man, I was like Bum was saying, I was hyped all night, couldn't sleep. Hyped all night. I was ready for the field then, But those are the memories. And the FA Cup game against Devonshire Coates, I mean, the Coates scored first. Albert Dolan off a header.
Got a header, I remember.
Off a header, yeah. Another when you talk about technique, him and George Brangman were like masters at heading the ball. The other person probably Boiling Brangman. Horton for it too, but certainly, man, those my standout first game memories. My first FA Cup, Devonshire Coates, Martinmere. My first year, like I said, I won the FA Cup, Friendship, and the Martinmere. That was our first year that we guys won.
Sure.
Yeah.
Stevie, you remember your first one?
This guy's a first?
No. Stevie, you remember your first one?
Yeah, they are look like they're frozen.
Yeah, it was Martin game out at BAA Field against Southampton Rangers.
Okay.
Yeah, Martin game against Southampton Rangers at BAA Field. We beat up and Bumler scored that.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you now.
Because now, my first game was against the Rangers out at BA Field, Martinmere game. We beat them 1-0. Bumler scored the winner that night. Yeah, my first league game was against PHC up at Somerset. We beat them 5-1. I was playing left wing. And I tell you how hard it was and you had to pay attention to getting Somers's team. I scored 2 on that Sunday. Then the following Tuesday, we beat Warwick Bombardiers 4-3 in the Mortimer. Then the next Sunday, we played North Village. Dirt Simmons had come back from a 3-game suspension. I was on the bench. I said, next time I get my chance, it ain't gonna be that easy. So next time I got started was in December, you know.
Oh,
And I, like I said, I set up the first goal and scored 2 the Sunday, and the next Sunday I was on the bench, you know. But that was the standard at some of them days. You know, the older guys, you know, you had to make way for the older guys. You know, they paid to do this. You know, that was my first game. So Hampton Rangers out BA Field 1-0.
sure. Mike?
Yeah, I actually do remember my memory's bad, but I actually do remember my debut was at Somerset against Rangers in a league game, and I remember Bumler's talking about how good George Brangman was with his head. Well, I remember that game vividly because I came on and they played me out wide right, and like Bummer said, I was so hyped up. My feet weren't even on the ground, man. Nobody had a chance to stop me that night because I was so hyped up. And I was giving the right back, the left back. I can't remember who it was. I was giving him a torrid time. But this ball dropped to me just outside the box. And Dennis would tell you, myself, we had a trio of players who were probably the greediest players, in the island.
Unbelievable.
On a goal, you know.
Unbelievable.
If I didn't get a girl in front of me, I didn't want to play football, man. I just show me where the girl is. That's all I want to do. I want to score.
Right.
And I remember this ball coming to me, and I was going to volley it, but I was a little far out. So I took a touch, and I hit this thing so hard, it wasn't even close to the goal. It went a cross goal, and George Brangman stood there, arched his back, and let the ball hit him in his head. And the ball went in the goal so hard, the keeper didn't even move. He didn't have a chance. And I'm running around like I meant to cross it. so I remember that. I remember that game. And I remember saying, hey, George Brangman that guy's incredible. He's a genius, man. Because he just arched his back and let the ball hit him. And the ball came over his head like a bullet, man. And I think we won the game 3-1, but I remember that like I say, and I couldn't sleep for days, man. I couldn't sleep for days. It was like I was so excited that, you know, I was actually in the lineup and I was playing for Somerset. And this was when we were just coming up from the youth programs, you know, making our debut. And I tell my son all the time, my son plays for Somerset now, and I tell him all the time, you know, if you guys had to endure what we had to endure actually to get into the first team, you guys would have left and went somewhere else because your mindset is different now. I think you guys are a little more entitled than we used to be. So if you would have had to sit on the bench for the whole season, coming on 20 minutes at a time, sometimes you didn't come on, sometimes you played half the game, you know, I think you guys would have left and went somewhere else. And that was the difference back then. I think one of the major differences from then and now. But yeah, I remember that. I remember that game.
Yeah. Dennis?
Yeah, so what I heard Bumler talk about walking on the carpet, how special that was for him. That's special for me too, because I mean we started getting on the carpet from Crystal Palace. Like we were in the Crystal Palace final every year. I remember Somerset been in the Crystal Palace like 7 to 8 years in a row. And once you got to the senior level, it's the same way. So you guys, how special was that? Like, I mean, to get to the carpet, you knew half of Bermuda was there. Like, well, not half of it, exaggerating, but you always had a crowd of like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. How did that make you guys feel to get on the carpet and represent Somerset?
We're going to reverse. So Mike?
Oh, that was. It was nothing like it. Like Bumler says, you have to live it. You can't, it's difficult to explain, you know, getting into a final with Somerset and play. It's difficult to explain that feeling. The sense of pride and you know, the joy that you felt was crazy. And for me personally, I left to go to Indiana Dr. Simmons actually helped me get the scholarship in Indiana at a university, and I left, and I was out there for quite a while. So I actually missed a lot of games, with these guys. I would come back and play at Christmas and that type of stuff, but I missed a lot of games. But just the feeling that you get, I have to agree with Bumler, man. You can't explain it. You can't explain it. It was but that's what it meant to us. You know what I mean? That's what it meant to us. It wasn't just okay. We're in a final. If we made 10 finals, it was the same thing. You had to do well. First of all, you had to do well for the community because you guys know Somerset fans have very high expectations and they have very high standards and they don't want to hear excuses. You know what I mean? So, and we knew that in our hearts, we knew that. Look, if you're not up for this, you got to tell the coach, hey, look, man, let me sit down here. It was amazing, man. It was amazing.
Steve?
Nothing like it, boy. My first visit on the carpet was against Cougars. I don't know if you remember when Cougars came out in them Bumblebee jerseys.
4-0.
Cup final. Remember that?
4-0.
After 20 minutes, the fans were leaving. And then the following week, we played PAC in the Friendship, and it was 4-1.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was nice. I was away in school from 75 to 78, and me and Bumler used to correspond all the time, man. And he used to tell me, he said, Bert, man, and you get back here, man, and you play for the first team, man, ain't nothing like it, man. I won't tell you about all the other good things he used to tell me about, but it's football.
Keep it clear.
Yeah. Ask Dennis when you see him. Dennis will tell you.
Plead the fifth like Lou, man.
I always plead the fifth, fellas. That's right. Now, for the carpet was an expectation, Earl.
Yes.
That was an expectation. As playing with some, it was an expectation that you were going to play on the carpet. It was like it was a rite of passage, and every final meant, we're going carpet. We're going carpet. That was the whole mindset. And like I said, for about the first 5 years of my football, that's all I did. And the thing about it, I even did it when I was probably one of the few who was brought home to play. Sometimes I used to feel sorry for Earl because one time Earl did well to get the Trojans to the finals, and the like I said, in those days the syndicate had a lot of weight behind Somerset. But I'm going to talk about community. Those guys the syndicate used to, prior to games, talk to the coach and management. Look, we have to bring so-and-so home for this match. We'll bring him. And that was persuasive. That's how Horton used to come home. Remember when Horton used to be overseas and come, and that was one of the fascinations for us, man. Horton come home, play a half, and score the winning goals, right? Those type of things. But I remember when, for me, when they brought me home to play in the final at the carpet, I felt for Earl because Earl had to sit on the bench because the syndicate made it very clear to the coach who was going to play in that game, who they wanted to play. Yeah, paid for my ticket. If you had a shutout, I would take money back with me. Right? That was the mindset in that day. But the carpet was everything, man. It was that was the, like we said, the guys were talking earlier about the standard. Like I said, those were the standards that were set for us early. And then it said Crystal Palace actually was the barometer for us. If the very rarely did we play as youth players, Crystal Palace, and not have the senior team play up there at the same time. Our thing was to, if the senior team was going to be at the carpet, then we have to be at the carpet with them in Crystal Palace.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Bumla, being on top of the steps of the National Sports Stadium, the National Stadium, to walk down the steps, what was that like?
Yeah, it was a good feeling. Really, really good feeling. And like the rest of us know that the experience you get from the Crystal Palace, so it's unknown, is the FA Cup. So it was a given, and that's what you work towards. So I got a lot of joy to the ritual, the build up to the game. The training intensifies. People getting ready, getting special outfits.
Yeah.
On the club covers. Like you said, the syndicate is talk to the banker. They got to do something about this because they got a syndicate on the other side that they got to face too. So all that stuff went on back then, you know, and you had that pride. You had that to put on a jersey, especially you got a brand new jersey. Man, you're like a baby getting the fresh toy. Yeah, that's how serious it was. He took it seriously. I remember up National Stadium, remember? And you can look out of there's windows out of there, there's little wind up windows. You can see the people. And then as the time went on, you can see more and more people, you know? So, all right, you're getting ready. But I remember one time up there, and they left number 10 at Somerset Cricket Club. I told them I can't play. I couldn't. That's how it was from number 10. That was it. No, he was there. The boss said, "Man, put on number 11. Put on any. Don't matter." I said, "No, but can't play, man." Remember, Rudy Martinez came in and put his hand on me and said, "What's the matter?" I said, "It's Martinez. I can't do it, mate." What? The whole buzzer put his head there. Hey, about 6 guys came by. Guy jumped in his car. All the way Somerset open and all the way back. Put back number 10.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Wow. We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have more with these former Trojan players. We'll be right back.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, you know, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Most of us identify pasta with the joys of Italian food, the most popular cuisine on the planet. After all, pasta is the staple food of Italy, where hundreds of varieties are enjoyed daily. While traveling in the Far East, the founder of the Explore Cuisine company was surprised and impressed by the variety of exotic pastas he found, sampled, and enjoyed there, and resolved to bring this knowledge back to enrich the cuisine of the West. This month, we're featuring delicious Explore Cuisine organic mung bean fettuccine and black bean spaghetti. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Yeah. Welcome back. Well, Dennis?
Yes, right up to today, the expectations of Somerset are still great, whether the team is successful or not. Somerset is probably one of the hardest places to play as a Somerset player, and even harder as a coach because of the expectations of what the people before did at the club. So um, I'm going to talk about expectations. Stevie Riley was one of the most special people to me because later in his career, Stevie took up a role as we call it super sub. But the expectation was there because 9 times out of 10, Stevie delivered.
Mm.
Stevie knew his role. You got guys today don't want to sit on the bench for 2 games. But the expectation of and I always talk to Larry Smith about Larry always talks about Barrett Riley, about how he was probably one of the best off the ball runners in Bermuda history. So the expectation of Stevie coming on and delivering was great. The expectation of Bumler to do what he had to do. The expectation of Lou. Lou wasn't a tall keeper, right? But Lou was a lunatic, absolute lunatic. I remember the first time Lou punched me. Lou called, and I was bullheaded too. But Lou kept coming, and next thing I know, I'm down on the ground looking up at Lou. I'm cussing him off. He said, "Yeah, but get the bleep bleep out of the way next time." Mike Cadet was probably, I always call his the greediest player I've ever played against in my life. But hey man, these guys, man, it was unbelievable playing with these guys, man. Unreal because of the expectation. The Stevie expectations of me making sure that defense is straight. Every game I'm one of those guys because the last thing I want to hear is Stevie smoke. Last thing I want to hear is smoke. But at the end of the day, man, the expectations. And we challenge each other. We challenge each other to the limit, man. You know what I mean? And so to Lou, where did that tenacity come from, man? Because like when people heard that mouth, like you had to get out of the way. Where did that tenacity come from?
For me, Rock. I mean, that definitely things of the neighborhood where it develops, but certainly in the game. Again, when you talk about coaching, and this is something else that stood out for me, and it was Rudy Myers actually used to say it all the time. I remember coming in '75, those first impressionable games. I didn't go for a cross, right? And mine is felt, hey, that's your ball, right? And I said, well, I couldn't get to it. He says, you're the goalkeeper. There's no such thing what you can do. If you can control your box, then you shouldn't be playing, right? And that was like a slap in my face when he said it. But hey, I'm gonna be playing, man. So he says, nah, you need to control your area, So always, me as a youth player, I always was very vocal. But I think as I matured in the senior level, aggression became more a part of my game because the game was quicker and I'm playing against men. That's the other thing. At 16 years old, I came in, I'm playing against men bodies, I was like, man, Horton, them guys were big men. And Al James, those guys, Cortland Ferber, those guys are big guys, man. And so it wasn't a thing of size to me. It was a thing of, small X cut down big tree. So I learned the mathematics of my position. And I used to say that was very much a part of a lot of our training. I mean, you look at some of the goalkeepers, on average, most of us are average height guys, 5'8", 5'9". Our 6-footers were Winslow, maybe Ty, Sheldon Bradshaw, Tango, before. But the rest of us, so mathematics was always a key part of how we played with the aggression. Gumsy, Maceo, O'Hal, Keenan, Pickles. And I tell guys, hey, we master mathematics, guys. Footwork, angles, and be vocal. Be unafraid. And so we all brought that to our game, but it was very much a part of my game that I'm getting the ball at the highest point, learning those things. I mean, I did a lot of plyometrics in terms of strengthening legs and jumping, like the fences around the field. That used to be part of our training, hopping over them, standing jumps. And it doesn't feel nice when you miss a step and that happened a few times. But again, all those things, man, contribute. What are you going to do to elevate your game to another level? And then again, like you said, I mean, there aren't any excuses. You take on a position and a role, you own it. And so a lot of my mentality was that type of mentality. And like the guy said, I mean, you've heard a lot tonight about our hyper competitiveness. I mean, I didn't like to be beaten. So my thing was to beat you either physically or mentally. Yeah.
And Bumler, Stevie, and Mike, where did that tenacity come from? Because Mike was a beast, Stevie was a beast, and Bumler was a beast. Where did that come from? Like,
I think mine comes from in the neighborhood and playing football, backyard football. See, like the bigger guys always took the big guys, put the small guys on the other side. And you got kicked around, you got pushed around, bumped around. So that made you tough. And even backyard football back then was very competitive. You had to win. Last year, guys come up duck yard, you come from a crock duck with your boys and all that, or Lord's Plank. It was just instilled in us keen to win. It's like you're born with it. And if not, you get kicked into it because there's big guys kicking.
Yep.
And my will to fight, I think a lot of it also comes from, because I'm the youngest out of 9. So I took a lot of slams and a lot of bumps. My bros taught me how to fight so nobody could beat me up. I had that type of fight in me. So that helped me with football. The will to win. And with Island Randers, we had a hard guy. Those guys were hard, man. Icewater Smith. I'm coming around here talking about you could do it and you can't do it because he'd kick you. He's had his big concrete boots on. You dare not talk back or try to do something. But that's the respect. And, and thank God for guys like that and coaches like Icewater Smith to have interest in the neighborhood, because it wasn't just football. It was building character in the human being. He had a fishing bit. He taught me guys how to fish, how to catch conch, how to dive up mussels. He put on barbecues. He'd take us out there by, what's that hotel out there in Somerset?
It's Cambridge Beaches.
Right. Take us out the island out there. Set up the barbecue, your hot dogs and hamburger, dive up conch, these guys done good outside of football and for football. They build good human beings. You know, Lionel Turner, the same way. You know, because Lionel used to take we guys. If we got in like, you can remember we got in the Crystal Palace final. He used to take the guys out White's Island. You know, character building again. You share different chores. Take out the trash. You wash dishes. You cook. You know, you play makeup, put a hurl in the grass, play a little golf. You know, and that brought guys together. That's another reason why Somerset was good. You know, all that deal and brought big guys tight. And that deal was the same on the field. Stevie, I used to tell Stevie's a mastermind. He could read the game.
Yep.
He could read the game. Pulled off miracles. Yeah. And so, you know, from that, giving you that killer instinct to win. And then when you're young and you're looking at Somerset, even if you play for Island Rangers, when you looked at Somerset, you knew that's like a powerhouse, you know. And if you get the chance to be able to go and play, you know that you have to, you know, live up to a high standard. And the thing about it, you had help. That's what made Somerset so great. It was the program that they had from all the way down, even before Bantams came along and all that. You know, you had your junior teams, right? And then you had your reserve team. And the reserve team was your backup for your first team, you know. And then we developed the community, and then the AK and the Bantams, the minors, the mini minors. But we guys, I know these guys, and Steve can tell you, we guys, Lou, Michael, all of us can tell you, we religiously, on a Saturday, we live the weekend, our lives were Somerset. Somerset Cricket Club. We spent more time on the Somerset Cricket Club than we did here. And we supported one another. We went and watched Saturdays. We came out and watched the reserve side. We watched the little juniors. We watched the Bantams. We watched them. So we get that instinct, and then I think the people in the community too, because you got to backlash them. I ain't calling somebody's mama, but she'll let you have it. She really playing, baby. This is serious. This game is serious. I can't speak, you know, for guys today, but I know in that period of time, that's how it was. And you took on the duty because you felt it was your duty because of the love from the Somerset people and the love from the club and everything that everything represents. It was like one big family. Sure. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't recall having any problems. There's no families in Somerset, no players or nobody, because it was just that love, and that's what we shared. Spectators. The spectators will let you have it, though. Oh, man, it was beautiful.
Yeah. Stevie?
For me, man, I just didn't like to lose, man. You know, even if I was playing marbles, man, I didn't like losing, man.
Yeah.
You know, so I used to get vexed, man. You know what I mean? And this team come up here, what? Especially if I'm playing in Somerset. You know what I mean? Yeah, he comes up my backyard and talking about, you know, because teams used to be frightened to come to Somerset, man. I talked to a guy now, he played for Devonshire Coach, said, man, we used to warm up on the bank back then. before we came out onto the field, you know.
Yeah.
Just watching you guys up on the bank, just saying, "Oh man, how many we gonna get today?" Hey, guys, and they was afraid to come Somerset, man. You know what I mean? You know, but that was for me, man. I just didn't like to lose, man. You know what I mean? And plus, I didn't think we was, you know, a lot of times we lost because I remember one time Port Royal beat us. I think Port Royal might have got the only victory of the season that year.
Yep.
Somerset, you know?
Yep.
Out of all the games we chose to play terrible, it was against Port Royal. You know what I mean? I'm saying, man, look at this nonsense. You know, that wasn't a happy weekend. You know what I mean?
It was.
And then, you know, like Bumler was talking about somebody's mama. I you know, that same lady, man, if I was her and didn't want to go training, she'll come in my room and say, "Hey, what's your problem, boy? You supposed to be playing football?" I say, "Yeah, man, I ain't going to train tonight." You know what? Kept cracking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another thing. We used to always make sure everybody look out for one another as far as training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you miss training for a week or two, guys call, "Hey, what's happening, man? You know, something wrong," or whatever the case may be. You know, that was it for me, man. I just didn't like to be on the, you know, the losing side.
Yeah. Mike?
Well, I think tenacity is, and that will to win. I think you're born with that. I think a lot of it you're born with, but I think clubs like Somerset Cricket Club bring it out of you. You know, when you see the standards that these guys set, you know, look, you can't make excuses. There is no excuse. Losing is not an option. When you watch Bomler and Lou and Stevie and George Brangman and these guys, you know that it's not an option. And for me, though, personally, Dennis Brown is the one who brought it out of, I think, myself, Anthony Bailey, Troy Berkeley. That's my lifetime brethren. And those guys had a quiet competition every season in terms of, okay, who's scoring the most goals? so that I think that tenacity came because we guys knew, we were always told, look, it's your responsibility to make, supply, and score goals. You let Dennis stop the goals. It's your job to score goals. So we didn't shirk that responsibility. You know what I mean? Dennis used to tease us about being greedy. But if we wouldn't have took the responsibility, he'd have teased us about being soft. So, you know, we had to accept the responsibility, and we did. And like I said, we had quiet competitions every season. You know, let's see who's going to score the most goals. And for me, I think my will to win and my tenacity was, if I saw the target, that's where I want to be. You know what I mean? It was all about, I just wanted to score goals, man. I always just wanted to score goals. So, Dennis, you call me greedy if you like.
Absolutely.
But, you know,
let me remind you, Mike, you called yourself greedy too.
Exactly.
Hey, I have no qualms about that. I mean, I'm sure guys might have said, "Hey, Bumler, you're greedy," you know. But that was because that was our job, and we knew that, and we never shirked from that responsibility. We knew that was our job in the team. That was our role in the team. Stevie Riley supposed to score goals. You know, he knew that was his job. When Dennis talks about Stevie's off the ball running, it wasn't so much that he made a lot of off the ball runs, but it was his timing of the runs. Always arrived at the right time. You know, and he never got there too early, never got there too late. One of the better headers of the ball I'm seeing. Just those things. But that's what made we guys tenacious. That's what made us want to be at another level. You know, watching these guys. And the tenacity that, well, some people tell me, I'm tired of hearing, yeah, well, you got small man syndrome. That's why you want to kick everybody. I don't think that's true. I just think that Somerset Cricket Club brought that out of us. The standards that these guys set, just, you know, like I said, nothing else was an option. Whatever you needed to do to win the match, that's what you had to do, mate. So if you had to get down and dirty, then so be it. But whatever you need to do to win the match, that's what had to happen.
Sure. Any final question, Dennis?
Yeah, last question, everybody. Just give us your most memorable moments playing for Somerset. Your memorable moments, memorable game, Lou, memorable save, your memorable moments playing for Somerset.
We'll start with Lou.
Man, I have so many, but I always reflect on a Martin Mere final. This would have been under Larry Smith at Southampton Rangers. I don't really know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
We had a whole host of injuries, Rock.
Yeah, I was injured.
And we had to use. We had a team of youth players. Really, these guys normally would not have. Not that they wouldn't make the team. They would struggle to get in the team.
Yeah.
But about 7 of them, and I'll never forget it, man. It's actually one of my most enjoyable games because folk expected for us to lose against Rangers, and those guys, they played the game of their life. They played the game of their life, man. Devon Can and Vaughn, Vaughn, who is at
Vaughn Davis.
TCB.
Vaughn Davis.
Yeah, Vaughn Davis, man.
George Can, I know this.
George
guys.
Can.
Yeah.
These were all youth players. They were all youth players.
Paul,
and I remember when you talk about preparation, Earl, I forget whose house we changed at someone's house in the neighborhood, if I recall. And this is at the time Philadelphia 76ers were in the championship or something. And there was a video that was out of the Sixers preparing for the championship. Julius Erving, because it would have been his first. And I had put that tape on and said to the younger guys, "This is your first. This is your time." But it was one of the most enjoyable finals for me to play in, man. To just watch them prove all the critics wrong. They played so well, and when it came to penalties, I think we won that game on penalties.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and on the sideline was Reginald, and I think this was like I was abroad and came back my first season back actually from university. This was like in 86, 87, something like that there. And on the sideline was Reginald Gomes, who he was signaling me with certain guys for Rangers and what their choice of corners were in shooting penalties. He'd tap his right leg and that's telling me that, Erland Jones, Lou, has gone to your right. And I saved 3 penalties based upon his signal. I just trusted what he said, and dived to every corner and saved 3 penalties based upon him just signaling to me on the sideline, "Hey, this one's going left. Pickles. Steve. Pickles is going to your left." I dive left. Saved Pickles goal. So it was one of my most enjoyable finals. But I have so many, man. Finals. Those hours. I mean, boy, so many games.
Sure. Bumler?
Yep. There's been so many memorable, a lot of good memories. If I have to really pick one, there's so many good ones. But I think it was one up there at National Stadium where the Warwick Bombardiers on the farm up there. Rick Richard was coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek Scott, Cortland Furbett,
Terry Green and this guy.
Terry Green, they flew back Johnny Newsom. These were up on the guys. I remember running through from on the right, but halfway of the field. I was running towards the circle in the center of the field. And I was screaming out to George Grayman. And George Grayman playing through a ball, a chassis ball, brought it down. And then I faced Johnny Newsom. So when Johnny came running, I pushed the ball to the right side of Johnny and ran on him on the other side and pushed turbocharge, picked up the ball. The Bully Beef came running out. I went straight for Bully Beef then and went running. Yeah, smashed the ball into the girl. I think Lou out. I think, and now I forget because Lou had a great game that game up there. Because those big giants, but hey, you don't want to be in when Al James and Cortland Furber's hitting the ball. You don't want to be there. Thank God for Lou. I just want to say, Lou, all you guys, in my mind, and all the football I'm seeing, and Jack, you guys are way up there, and they're world class. A lot of people can't differentiate athletes just being athletes because the money gets involved. Because we guys weren't paid hundreds and millions of dollars, doesn't mean we guys wasn't as good as some of those guys, right? Because when I watch you guys play, that's how I look at you guys. You're up in that category. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Beckenbauer, Petey, guys that have played the game. But, you know, the experience playing with you guys has been so beautiful, man. It's some of the happiest days in my life. And football could make you feel free too, man, because you're on that field, you think about nothing else.
Yeah.
It's game on, and you're sticking to the plan. That's why you have to, like guys like Randy Horton, you know what I mean? They discipline you. You have the respect, and you carry out the mission, and it works. And that's what we guys are used to. A lot of people used to say a lot of things. You know, they call you all types of words. But it was just that we guys love what we love the game, and we love the community. We love the club, and we just were doing our part. Because Horton used to tell you, hey, this 11 man, you know, and he gives you your space, and somebody else got chased. Get out, like Michael was saying earlier. Hey, get out of my space, mate. This is my responsibility. And guys worked hard for one another. That's why Somerset Trojans were so great, because if the midfield went up and the striker was back on it, you fill in. You fill in that position, build that position until he gets tired to get back and get in position, regroup, and you go again.
Yeah, sure.
Chain them break down.
Yeah.
The system from Somerset didn't break because we had the junior program coming through. Somehow or the other, we have to try now is to pull all that stuff back. And the youth have to understand, you have to train. The most important thing is you have to train. You have to get it in the head. Anybody can tell you, in order to get better, you have to work at it and train.
Sure. Stevie?
One of my most memorable games was it was a 3-0 draw up in Somerset against North Village. Village had us 3-2 with about 10 minutes left to go, and you know they was on. Certain fella was on the sideline. Oh, you Somerset sisters! This game, you know what I mean? You know, because back then their families would call me Somerset by sisters. You know,
right?
Then we scored in the last minute or so. The game ended up 3-0. You know, and that was one of the other syndicates that had. You know, they was flashing that money. Oh yeah. You know, bring it in, you know, but you heard his here. That was one of my most memorable games, man. It ended up 3-0, you know.
Sure. Mike?
No, that's really difficult. Because like I say, I was always so happy to be playing for Somerset that man, memorable games. I do remember my debut. I remember coming home against Rangers. That's pretty vivid in my mind, because I really enjoyed that. But another game that I really enjoyed thinking about was when Manchester United came here. When we played Manchester United up Somerset. I had come back from school, and just to play against those guys was a treat. You know, not many people can say that they've actually played against United, whether it was an exhibition match or not. You know, not many people can say that. So that was memorable. I tell you, one of my most vivid memories was playing against Joe Trott in a village game. I went up for a header, and I jumped as high as I could. All I got was Joe Trott's elbow in my nose, and that's still part of my nose at the club. I remember that game too, but there's so many wonderful memories playing with these guys and playing with my era that it's difficult to bring one to mind. But
yeah,
a lot of good memories.
Sure. Well, gentlemen, I truly want to thank you all for joining us on this walk down memory lane. I thoroughly hope that you've enjoyed yourself tonight as well, and bringing memories back to a lot of people that are watching, and reminiscing as you speak, about games and situations and so forth. So I want to say thank you very, very much. Dennis, we'll be back next week with another edition of a walk down memory lane. To everyone, have a good night.
Have a good night. Take care, you guys. Next time we hear the other stories.